What is going on? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lineman Life Live. I am your observant lineman, Uche, Nwaneri. And we today got some things we got to talk about, folks. Got some things we got to talk about. But first and foremost, happy Friday. It is the weekend. It's a holiday weekend at that. 4th of July will be on Sunday. That is an odd day to have 4th of July, now that I sit here and think about it. But, excuse me. We are live. Appreciate you guys for being in here. Make sure you smash that like button if you haven't already done so. And subscribe to the Observant Lineman, Uche Nwaneri. Man, quite a day. Quite a day in the world of sports, has it not been? Biggest story, obviously, off of today's headlines, Sha'Carri Richardson. She is out of the 100 meter for the Olympic team, the U.S. Olympic team. She failed a piss test for the devil's lettuce. And now she can't race. So, a lot of people have a lot of things to say about this situation. But thankfully, yours truly here has a very unique perspective. And in order to give you guys this unique perspective, it's going to require a little story. It's going to require me to tell you guys a story, because it's one thing for people to talk about the situation and talk about the rules that the International Olympic Committee operates by. And when you look at it, on the one end, they have their rules, and on the other end, you have society that, obviously has its own views. If you go into the internet space and check on this story, there are a lot of people who are upset about this. A lot of people who are upset about it. And while I do understand the sentiment of why people are upset, I don't understand why people don't really or can't really come to grips with the fact that it is 100% her fault that she's not running. Point blank, period. And I give all the respect in the world to Sha'Carri. I give all the respect in the world to her, because you know what she did? She came out and she owned it. She acknowledged her mistake. I mean, she kept it, and on Twitter, I thought it was beautiful that she came out and said, "I am human." That is, to me, a person who is fully self-aware of their environment and the situation that they've put themselves in, and they've come to grips with it. But the problem that I see is that there are so many people who are trying to be upset for her when she doesn't want you to be upset for her, because she did it to herself, admittedly. And she is taking full accountability for it. But still, the fact remains that people have, turned this into an issue around marijuana. And, I'm a weed guy. I'm a weed guy. So, I do believe that I actually have a unique perspective. And in the story that I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to do that after we watch this video of her actually interviewing on the Today Show. But I think that I have a story that I think a lot of people could probably, if you smoke marijuana, you probably could relate to it. But again, it's a little bit different as it has to pertain more with the professional life. So, first and foremost, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at this interview that Sha'Carri did today with the Today Show. So weird saying that. And I'm gonna try and let it run through. before I jump in and say anything or really comment on anything, but I saw like the first minute and a half of this, and just kind of felt like, it'd be great to really just sit down and watch this with you. So let's take a look. This is Sha'Carri Richardson in her own words. Oh, whoops. Turn that on. Sha'Carri Richardson in her own words.
Thank you. And Sha'Carri Richardson joins us now. Good morning, Sha'Carri. I just want to ask a simple question first. How are you doing?
I'm blessed to be alive. That's about it.
This is not easy. This is a hard moment that you're in right now. And I thank you for being on. And I know you wanted to tell your story. So tell me, what happened? What led up to this positive test?
Just honestly, I want to take responsibility for my actions. I know what I did. I know what I'm supposed to do. No, I'm allowed not to do, and I still made that decision. But not making an excuse or looking for any empathy in my case, but just, however, being in that position of my life, finding out something like that, something that I would say is probably one of the biggest things that have impacted me positively and negatively in my life when it comes to dealing with the relationship I have with my mother. So that definitely was a very heavy topic on me, and people don't understand what it's like to have to, or people do. We all have our different struggles. We all have our different things we deal with. But
okay, so real quick, and let me take these off. My intro is done. Real quick, very mature thing that she did there. Very mature thing that she did, and I do like. I like how she accepted responsibility for what she did. She knew she wasn't supposed to be smoking weed. She went, but to be fair, she had a situation that came up. For those of you who don't know, I'm pretty sure most people do, if you've been keeping up with this thing at all. Her mother passed away, but she was told that her mother passed away by someone, by a reporter during a live interview, which that's a hell of a way to find out something like that. I mean, of course, that's got to be devastating. I can fully empathize with that aspect of the situation. Of course, that is going to cause like a serious disruption to your routine as a person, your thought processes, everything that you were comfortable in before that moment has now been shattered. So the mindset that she was likely in is a depressed one, of course, like one of pain. Nobody doubts that. Nobody is trying to take away from that. I think that that's very real because, when you have the loss of a close one, of a loved one, yes, it does affect you in that very moment. And on the world stage, as she is, as an athlete, that is doubly as devastating because not only is there the shock of it, you also are dealing with being pretty much, your shock, your disbelief, your pain is on full blast for the world to see. And you're expected to keep this professional demeanor. You're expected to answer questions when you just got, given information like that. It's not something that I envy. I mean, I do not envy her situation at all. I do not envy it at all. I mean, that's got to be said first. This was, I haven't seen the interview. If anybody knows, if anybody knows that they're about the interview that actually that where it happened, drop a link in the chat, please. But difficult position to be in. I mean, nobody wants to be in that position. Nobody. There's almost a level of embarrassment to it as well because you're on TV, like, and you likely are. Your mind is racing a million miles a second. You don't know it. You don't really know what to say or think at that point. So I can absolutely empathize with her on that. I don't look at her and fault her for feeling a certain kind of way. She has the right to feel that way, and anybody would feel that way. And another thing, she said, nobody understands. Nobody can understand, which initially when I watched this part of it, and that's kind of when I was like, okay, let me stop. Let me, save this. I want to kind of I want to be watching it fresh when I come onto when I go live with you guys. And she caught herself. She caught herself when what she was about to say, could be construed as, her making it about her or something like that, where people that kind of gives people a little bit of an avenue, as downward dogly as that would be to even go that route. That gives people a little bit to say, well, look, she's assuming that nobody else has lost a loved one and they don't go out and smoke marijuana. She corrected herself. She stopped herself and she said, well, I won't say everybody because everyone has their own life experiences. That to me is a very mature understanding of what you're talking about, and the fact that you are speaking about something that a lot of people have dealt with. So she didn't want to generalize. So she caught herself and corrected. That is you don't see that. You don't see that from people. You don't see people kind of step to the side and consider other people when they're talking in these kind of situations. She took the initiative to recognize that. And I think that you got to give respect up for somebody who can do that, because it takes self-awareness to do that.
Put on a face. I have to go in front of the world and put on a face and hide my pain. Who are you, or who am I to tell you how to cope when you're dealing with a pain, or you're dealing with a struggle that you've never experienced before, or that you've never thought you would have to deal with. Like, who am I to tell you how to cope? Who am I to tell you that you're wrong for hurting? So I think just honestly, just leading up to that, dealing with my mental health, dealing with my mental as is with leading up to the games, every time stepping on the track, definitely expected to be a record-breaking time or something like that. So just with that, pressure in itself was also just another thing. With this actually been my first full professional career, my first full professional circuit this year due to the pandemic. So just considering all of that put together, long time, my agent, my sponsor, my sponsorship, my family, knowing me dealing with all of this during time. So,
Sha'Carri, I just want people to understand.
And everything she said is, I feel bad for her, because it's a shitty situation. Like, okay, yeah, it is a shitty situation. I think anybody, in today's day and age, I mean, come on, we're talking about weed, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's get through the rest of this.
Understand where you're coming from, and tell me if this is correct, but it was a few days before your big race and the trials, you found out that your biological mother had passed away. You found out when a reporter told you, and it was after that you had...
Can we go find this reporter? Can somebody find this reporter? Like, what kind of shit is that? Like, why does a reporter want to make themselves the one to tell somebody or to alert someone that their family member has passed away? Especially if they don't know if this person actually knows that yet. Like, come on. Like, stop it.
It ingested some kind of marijuana. I should mention, you were in Oregon. It's legal in Oregon. You didn't violate any law, but it was against the rules of your sport. And as you said, you knew that. But is that what happened? Is that how this unfolded?
Honestly, yes, that is the story. I had an interview scheduled with my agent. I knew I was having an interview. I knew going into the interview, I was just thinking it would have been a normal interview, and then on the interview to hear that information come from a complete stranger was definitely triggering, was definitely nerve shocking, because it's just like, how are you to tell me that? Like, it's like, and no offense against him at all. He's just doing his job, but definitely that sent me in a state of mind, in a state of emotional panic, if anything. And still knowing that even though I'm here, I still have to go out and put on a performance for put up a performance for my dream, go out there and still compete to what it is. So yes, definitely triggered, and from there just blinded by emotions, blinded by sadness, blinded by just hiding hurt, honestly, for the fact that I know that I can't hide myself. So at least in some type of way, I was just trying to hide my pain.
I think, I mean, geez, you know, she's handling this very well. I will say that. She's handling it very professionally. She's very aware. And, you know, I mean, she expressed exactly what, you know, she was feeling, which I can understand what she's going through. I can understand what she's going through. You know, that is what she's worked her whole life for, to go to the Olympics. It's what, you know, she dreamt of. You know, it was her goals that she set out to achieve. And, you know, now that's going to be put on hold, at least when it comes to the 100-meter race. She is not going to be participating in that because that 30-day ban nullifies the competition that she competed in. So, you know, all of her, you know, I think she ran like a 10.86 in the 100-meter, and, you know, that's been vacated. That's no longer, you know, it's been wiped out. So, you know, it's a shitty situation. Like, let's just be like, there's no way to win this situation for her. You know, even with her coming and owning up to it as she has, it's still got a sting once the cameras are off. I mean, obviously. But kind of going into this whole entire situation, my perspective is this. Only because I've been there. You are responsible for what you put in your body. You know the rules, and you know what you can and can't put in your body as an athlete. That's, you know, if there is one entity that is at the forefront of testing in terms of knowing exactly what is in your urine, what is in your blood, the NFL is that entity. The NFL's marijuana acceptable THC levels, even right now in the NFL, which I think they're about to stop fining players for it or stop suspending. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but the NFL has the most stringent marijuana tolerable rate of like the tolerable amount of THC you can have in your system in the NFL is lower than the Olympics. It's lower. It is 15 nanograms. 15 nanograms. So the Olympics, theirs is, I think it's like 35 nanograms, something in that range. So, quick story. My rookie year, coming into the NFL, we are in training camp. We are halfway through training camp, and right around, you know, that halfway point, the NFL's, you know, throughout the course of the offseason, the NFL sends testers who will come and test position by position. They'll test guys by position. So there'll be two tests that you take. One will be for performance-enhancing drugs. One will be for substance of abuse. As a rookie, not knowing anything about what's going on, you know, my mentality was don't ask questions, but pay attention to what's going on when, you know, it's time for the urine test, because, you know, I hadn't smoked at all at that point since I got out of college, because I was waiting, you know, because when I talk with the vets tell me you wait until you get your tests before you smoke, because you only get one test a year for substance of abuse. So you want to make sure you get that test before you decide to go and do any smoking. So got that in my head all off season. I'm at the club, somebody offers me a joint. No, I'm good. Waiting on my test. waiting on my test. So we are actually having a day off the next day. This is the midpoint of practice. Midpoint of training camp. So the next day is off for us. Everybody gets an off day. I get a slip under my door. No, slip on my chair in the locker room when we come out of practice. When we come back in from practice, and the slip has the NFL shield on it, and it just has some writing on it that says I have to show up for a urine test screening. Got 4 hours to do it. So I got till this time to take it. So, we just got done practice. I grabbed the sheet. I walked down the hall to the, because we're in the stadium in Jacksonville. Our facilities are at the stadium. So walk down the hall all the way to the bathroom, the staff bathrooms on the end at the other side of the stadium. Go in. I'm sitting there waiting because there's a line of guys. One guy gets done, next guy up. It's my turn. In the NFL, the way they do urine tests, you have to be you're face to face with the tester, pants to your knees, junk in your hand, cup, and boom, you go. So the way that they have these boxes set up for the screening, they have this box that has two bottles in it. One's red, one's blue. One says substance of abuse. One says performance-enhancing drugs. I give my sample in both of them, go on about my business, getting ready to go because we got the night off. I hit up, I run into a couple of other offensive linemen. Guys want to go hang out for a little bit. We got a little bit of free time. My first question to my guy is, hey, just got my test. What's good? Because the thing is, when somebody gets their test in the locker room during training camp, because they come into the locker room with a certain kind of swagger, just like, And the cat you look at him, you get your test? Yeah, I got my test. So get my test, go out with a couple teammates. We got a curfew still at like midnight, so we just go hang out for a little bit. And, my teammate has his guy bring us some weed. And while we're sitting there and his guy is rolling up a blunt, my teammate, Nwaneri, Vinny, Vince is like, Uche, brother, you get your piss test. And I'm like, yes, I got my piss test. You sure? I'm like, yeah, I got it. I got it today. I got it right after practice. He's like, you got to make sure you get your piss test now, because you don't get your piss test, you're getting real shit. This is the Samoan accent I'm trying to give you here. But I assured him, I took my test, I'm good to go. Him, our guy, blow down a joint, couple joints, blunt, I'm sorry, blow down a couple blunts, and then we're back off to the facility. I get back to the hotel, because we went back to the hotel after we got done smoking, and I filled up my freaking to-go box with all the goodies from the team dining room where all our food is at in the hotel. Filled my shit up. It's loaded. Go back to my room, and I'm a rookie, so I'm sharing a room with another offensive lineman. But I go back to I stumble. I'm just like a zombie stumbling around back to my room. Smash all this food, pass out, wake up the next morning, feeling good. Body feels a little bit better. That soreness that you have at that point in camp is so numbing, but smoking got me feeling good. So I wake up, going to go take a piss. I see a sheet under the door of our room in the hotel. A little sheet under the door. Look, just like the one that was on top of my chair in practice the day before. So I just looked at it and was like, oh, that must be for Andrew, because Andrew was the other offensive lineman that was in the room. Oh, that must be for him. So I go in the bathroom, morning piss, come back out, walk. I didn't know that he had already left the room, so I walked back over to grab my playbook, brush my teeth real quick. He's gone, so I'm like, well, shit. He must have forgot pick up his slip. So I reach down, I pick it up, and it's got my name on it. You have 4 hours to be in the facility to take a urine screening. And I'm like confused, like, what do you mean? Another one? I get up to the stadium. I'm in a panic at this point. I got to the stadium. I'm panicking. I'm asking teammates, hey, what is this? I'm like showing it to them, and they're like, oh, you got to go take a piss test. I'm like, but I took a piss test yesterday. And they're like, well, which one did you take? Which one did I take? He said, you take the steroid test, or you took your weed test? And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I thought I took the weed test. And they're like, did you ask the piss tester? And I'm like, no, of course I didn't ask. I didn't want them to be suspicious of me. And these cats bust out laughing. The whole offensive line laughing, looking at me like a dummy. They said, you dummy. You damn right you ask them what piss test you're taking. You don't just go in there and take a piss test and not know which one it is. You take 2 piss tests. And that is where I completely lost all like sight and understanding of what was happening to me in that moment. What I didn't know was that you take 2 piss tests. One is for performance enhancing, one is for substance abuse, and they both look exactly the same. Every box, every screening that you take, that box has those 2 bottles in them, but it doesn't mean that one is for each test. It's just one test, but they have 2 bottles, even though they're marked as different things. There are 2 bottles for one test. So this test that I went in and took was the substance of abuse test. And I had just smoked not even 10 hours before this. For the first time in at that point, for the first time in 8-9 months. So, because I wasn't aware and didn't ask questions, I failed that test. I ended up being put into the NFL substance abuse program, which is like the craziest thing ever, because you are monitored in all the movements you make outside of the city where you play, and you're tested randomly 5 times a month, in which you have to take the test. If you don't, it's a fail. Now, the thing about the NFL, though, is that when you fail the first time, nobody will know. Your team doesn't know. Everything is confidential. You are not fined. You're not suspended, but you're put in that program, and that program will last for 2 NFL seasons. So you will be in that. I was in the program from my rookie and my second year, and I got out after my second season, after the Super Bowl. So, I've been in the situation where you fail a piss test, and now you're being, you having to be inconvenienced in a way that, while it wasn't hard for me to just now at this point, because I have to take the test and I obviously cannot smoke, it was just move forward on with my thing. But, if I fail another test, then I'm going to be fined, and the team will find out that I failed, because they don't let the team know until they have to fine you. So the second fail will be a fine. The third fail will be a suspension. But being in that kind of situation where you fail a test, it really does put, it definitely forces you to evaluate the priorities as to what is worth risking at that point. Because through those 2 football seasons, there were times when I could have smoked weed. There are times when where I was offered it, and it was tempting, but I knew if I do it, one, there is no way at all for it to get out of my system before the next test I get. And I'm getting 5 tests a month, which means you're getting 1 test a week, and in one of those weeks, you get 2 tests. So there's no way. And the kind of test that the NFL uses, they evaporate your urine in a machine, and it actually breaks it down on a molecular level. So there's no way to mask it. There's no way to hide from it. It will know exactly what's in your urine. I had plenty of opportunities where I could have messed that up. How many NFL players have you heard of? One of them just applied for reinstatement today, Josh Gordon, who know what the situation is. They know what's on the line. And they know that if they mess up, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to find out, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be disappointed. There's going to be a lot of people asking questions. You know, there's going to be people asking, does she have a problem? Even with this unique situation that she was in, personally, people will say that, which is kind of, you know, bullshit. That's easy for anybody to say, but at the same time, it is, you know, it's when you know what's on the line, you know, you got to make a decision. You know, and she made a decision, and maybe she made that decision in a different kind of mind state. Maybe if, you know, it was somebody else who had told her and she'd heard that from a family member, it would have been easier to handle. But that's not how it played out. You know, all those factors added up to her making a decision that is now costing her, you know, probably millions of dollars potentially. I don't think that, you know, I think that 100-meter dash, that 100-meter race is like the Super Bowl of track in Olympic sports. Like that's like the Super Bowl. That's like the finals. Like Usain Bolt. You know what I mean? Like Michael Johnson. Their worldwide fame came from those kind of races, the 100, the 200. So for her, and I don't think that she's going to, like, you know, lose endorsements per se, but having that race in the Olympics it takes you to another level, especially if you break a world record. And she was going to have opportunity to do that. You know, it's unfortunate, but again, she knew the rules and she knew what was on the line. She knew what she was risking by doing that. So while I personally, you know, see no problem with smoking weed, and a lot of people don't, the rules in the parallel world of, you know, organized sports is a little bit different. You know, they're not all going to be so forgiving. Now, I feel like the International Olympic Committee, I feel like if they're going to, you know, if she's going to be penalized on her first failed, if this is her first failed urine test for marijuana, I feel like it should have been, I feel like it should have just been a fine. I feel like they could have given her a fine and that would have worked. I think that satisfies the rule itself, because she's not being allowed to walk scot-free, but she's not being, you know, punitively, like, damaged to where it affects her career on the first fail. The first fail, you've got to show, you know, there's got to be a level where, you know, it's where you start and then it escalates after that first fail. I think finding her like $10,000, $15,000 would have been suitable. You know, I feel like that could have been something that they could have negotiated. I mean, I don't understand. Those are the only things that I don't quite understand about how the IOC works. So, you know, if you know, please feel free to let me know in the chat. Let's see what you guys over here talking about. If she didn't want to be in Olympic limbo, she should have refrained from smoking pot until after the Olympics. I don't mind people smoking pot. I don't. But the Olympics is a privilege, not a right. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. A fair assessment. That's fair. I can't disagree with that. I can't disagree with that at all. I don't think weed is an issue. Like, socially, I don't think people really have an issue with marijuana. But you are in a position where you are expected to represent the country, and the international the international community is not the same, is not of the same mind when it comes to marijuana. In the U.S., it's lightened up, but that doesn't mean that it's like that in other countries or in the committees that decide on the rules that that people are going to have to abide by as athletes when it comes to substances of abuse. They are, it's not like they're having that same kind of marijuana renaissance that we're trying to start here in the U.S. It's not the same. So, these are old, archaic laws. I mean, not laws, rules. Old, archaic rules. Obviously, this is from, these are rules that were born of reefer madness and, the propaganda that made it seem as if marijuana drove people crazy or made people violent or it made, it was destructive or a gateway drug, whatever the hell they want to call it. It comes from that era. It comes from that DARE era, that just say no era. That's where, the prohibition, like the strictness behind the prohibition on marijuana comes from. So, yes, I think there absolutely needs to be updating of the rules. I think the rules need to change, but they ain't changed yet. So you got to play the game. You've been playing it all this time and you're right there. That's the only part for me where I think about, yes, I understand that your mom passed. I understand that things got heavy for you. I mean, no doubt. And, I empathize with that 100%. But damn, the Olympics are right around. Did you think they weren't going to, at some point, give you a urine test in the next month or two before the Olympics? Of course they are. If you know how they schedule those things, then you probably know when it's coming, or what portion of the schedule of your circuit when they show up. Because in the NFL, we know we're getting a piss test for weed between the start of OTAs, because the first team activities, start of OTAs to the end of training camp. That's going to be the window. So if you're smoking all throughout, the past season, then you stop smoking, by like the first or second week of February. You stop smoking. And then you got you got February, March, April, and then in May, when you start OTAs, you should be clean. And throughout that time, you going to CVS and grabbing tests. That's what the hell I was doing. Shit, after that, when I got out that program, I was like, shit, I ain't going back. I was like, I'm not going back. Shoot. But, you grab, you make sure that you're clean before you even get the test. Go in that thing fully hydrated, ready to piss for 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, that's like things that your teammates put you on. Like, you start learning this is what you need to do. Don't, you ask them what piss test you're getting. They don't give a damn. They only getting paid like $70 to give it to you. So you ask them what it is so that you know. And in her situation, if you know that you got something coming up, it's like I said, I said this on Twitter. I said, you could have chose to go have a drink. You could have chose to go get some Delta 8 CBD, which provides you with all the same effects as THC does without the THC. You could have done that. That's available. It's legal, like anywhere. It won't even show up on the test. It won't show up on the urine screening. Though you had options. You did. Should have thought that through. I understand that it was a very tough situation again. But, if not you, then somebody who knows you and somebody who knows who is also, a friend or a family member, if they were in the vicinity, somebody should have said something. Somebody should have tried to help and been like, hey, no, don't smoke. Let's, don't smoke, But again, she's an adult. She's going to make the decision she wants to make. She made her decision. She understands the decision she makes. She accepts it and she owned up to it. And I commend her for it. I commend her for, having that self-awareness. And it's a lesson. Lesson learned. Next time it won't happen, Next time I trust that it won't happen. She shows maturity in this video, so I can't knock her at all. I'm gonna show respect to that because There are people out there who would have found something to blame it on. Like many people on Twitter are finding something to blame it on right now, which to me is just like a waste of time. Like, what you gonna blame it on? You the one who did it. It's like when NFL players would fail for PEDs, and then they're like, I don't know how that got. I didn't know that was in my shake. I didn't know, motherfucker. They don't care that you don't know. They really don't. It says it in your team handbook. You are responsible for what you put in your body. Full stop. Like, that's what it is. And, you know, she'll grow from it. And hopefully, soon enough, with this, you know, being as big of a story as it is, hopefully the Olympic committee will look at those rules again and see if they need an update for 2021 because, or the future years coming up because, that's probably something that even if they're going to keep it on the books as, you can't smoke weed, they probably want to be a little bit more nuanced in how they handle that. It shouldn't be an immediate suspension, especially if it's something that happened outside of competition and it doesn't actually provide you a performance enhancement. I mean, not running at least, so definitely sucks that situation happened for Sha'Carri Richardson. Wishing her all the best and hoping that people, as I go through these comments, hoping that people just understand that, look, at the end of the day, she knew what was what and she's taking responsibility for it. So let's just kind of acknowledge that we think the rules should change, but let's move on because I'm sure she wants to move on because it is really something that is probably stings pretty bad right now. Probably stings for her. But if she gets a chance to run in a different, which I think they said that there may be something to her being able to run in the relay. I think that is still something that could be possible because there's suspension maybe up before then. But that is what it is. Sha'Carri Richardson, good luck. We got, I support you and, you showed a lot of maturity and that's awesome to see. It's awesome to see from a young 21-year-old. So kudos to her in being accountable and, and we'll see what happens with the rest of her events that she may be in for the Olympics. But moving on. Next topic at hand. My God. The NCAA just yesterday, I believe it was, allowed for college players, collegiate athletes now are able to make income off of their name, off of their image, and off of their likeness, the NIL rules. And man, these cats already had something ready to go. Not even one day after the rules went into effect, you have Master P make them say, nah. Master P. Master P's son, Hersey Miller, before he even get to college, he just signed a $2 million deal with an American technology company that still has not been named, oddly enough, after the NCAA's NI rule change. Miller is an incoming freshman at Tennessee State. I mean, look. I thought that this was going to be an awesome situation for collegiate athletes yesterday. I thought that this was going to be an absolutely fantastic situation because I remember my college days at Purdue. This was the stuff that we were hearing about and there were peeps of it and we were like, hopefully before I get out of here, they pass a rule and we can make some money. Hopefully. We were hearing about Northwestern players or something happening with, Nebraska. In Nebraska, they passed a bill that they said would allow players to get compensated as collegiate athletes. And everybody at that time, this is back in 2002 to 2006, this is back, everybody at that time is thinking, man, if we can, Nebraska's getting it. They're getting it out in Nebraska. The first domino done fell. It's our turn next, boys. It's our turns next. And, those years went by. I was out of college. Not only was I out of college, now I'm retired from the NFL. Almost as long as I played. And now the change has just made it to the finish line. It's just made it. But I kind of pictured this, personally, I pictured this to be a little bit different. I really did. Master P's son. Why is he getting a $2 million deal? I mean, is he a top recruit? I think he is a top recruit. Let me. I got an article over here. Let's see. Okay. So this article is coming from CBS, and man, I'm having a lot of different feelings right now about the first day of this shit, because it's a little weird. It says Miller stated that he'll be putting his newfound money back into the community. After many years of fighting for the right to profit off their name, image, and likeness, the way has now been cleared for college athletes to begin a new era of NIL deals and endorsements. According to a report from Front Office Sports, a rising Tennessee State point guard who will begin playing for the Tigers this fall already has a lucrative endorsement already in his back pocket. Hersey Miller, the son of rapper and former NBA player Master P, has signed a $2 million deal to become a brand ambassador for Web Apps America, a tech company specializing in web, mobile, and software solutions. That sounds kind of generic. Miller's endorsement deal ties into the company's commitment to supporting HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities in the United States. Miller committed to play basketball at Tennessee State after attending high school at Minnehaha Academy in Minneapolis. It's incredible, Master P told TMZ Sports. This is going to change the way college athletes want to stay in school. According to Brad Crawford of 247 Sports, Miller had fielded offers to play at USC, UCLA, LSU, Missouri, and others before ultimately choosing to play at Tennessee State. Miller continues a family tradition of basketball as his father played a pair of NBA preseasons with the Charlotte Hornets and Toronto Raptors, while his brother Romeo played college basketball at USC. With millions of dollars in the bank as a teenager, Miller stated he'll be putting his newfound money back into the community, though he will treat himself to a new Tesla as well. I learned from my dad, I'm going to start off by giving back to the community and everyone around me. I have a camp July 21st. I'm giving back to the kids, giving school supplies. News of Miller's endorsement deal was not wholly unexpected on the heels of the NCAA reforming its NIL rules. Earlier this year, Master P told TMZ that he had been negotiating endorsement deals for not only Hersey, but also his other son, Mercy. Okay. So, I mean, I think this is kind of, for me, I can see that this situation is this might be a one-off. It might be a one-off because Master P is your pops. And look, for those of you who don't know, Master P is like a mogul. The dude is like he's close, I'm sure, to being a billionaire. He's close. He has made a ton of massive business moves since he, was a rapper. Like, he has gone so much further up on the tree since those days. And he's really, like, his business acumen is really there. He really is a very well-rounded businessman. And I'm sure, knowing that this was in the pipeline, he reached out in a way that I'm sure companies like this software company see that there's a benefit to doing business with him because of his celebrity status. He is an OG. And his son getting a $2 million deal, I think that's more his dad than anything else, because I mean, I look at this and I say that if I'm a CEO of a company who's dealing with web apps and tech and software solutions, this to me is like a win-lose situation, because that's a chunk of money to lose, because it's probably not I don't know how big the company is, but it may be big enough where that's not a big deal. But if let's say it's just like a mid-tier company, that's like that's a chunk that you're giving out for a kid who's playing at the HBCU, sure enough. But I mean, how much are you going to receive from that? What is he going to? How much will your business actually gain in way of exposure? Because Tennessee State does not have much national exposure when it comes to sports. So that's going to be a challenge there. But I think this is a one-off, because Master P, obviously as his dad, does have a lot to offer in many ways outside of the sports side that will probably be of interest to this company. And so they're going to give his son this money to kind of solidify that network with Master P. But he ain't the only one, because there's other athletes who are cashing in right now. One of them is Miami's quarterback. Derek King. He just got paid. He got a little deal. Says here, it's all surreal. Derek King kicks off NIL era with big payday. Miami's gunslinger is already one of college football's most prominent stars to cash in on his own name, image, and likeness. Francis Suarez, the mayor of this city, held the football jersey up for the cameras to capture. His last name crawled across its back, Suarez, a gesture for his appearance here at the wharf for a somewhat historic ceremony. The jersey in his clutches, Suarez glanced towards Miami quarterback Derek King, smiled, and geared up to drop his one-liner. So if you sign it, he motioned towards the jersey, I'd have to pay you. Everyone chuckled, Suarez smiled, and King slightly nodded. Yes, Mayor, you got to pay me. On the first day that college athletes could earn compensation for their name, image, and likeness, King offered a glimpse into what life may be like for high-profile quarterbacks. His older brother has turned into his manager, for instance. He received a 5-figure signing bonus from one business, inked agreements with 3 more companies, and experienced what may be a new normal for guys like him, juggling money-earning events with football duties. Ooh, that sounds professional. It's been crazy, says Keshawn King, Derek's 25-year-old brother and manager extraordinaire. His phone is ringing nonstop. He's trying to take the deals that fit him best. King has been as active as any college athlete on day one of the NIL era. He signed deals with 3 businesses as well as Dreamfield, the digital marketplace that he helped create, and is now part owner. Damn! These kids already hitting it. Shit. That's, you know what? Now I feel better about this, because that's how it's supposed to be. That is how it's supposed to be for these cats. Because you know what's going to happen if he ain't doing that? If he's not able to do that, the university's going to do it and get that bread for themselves. Because that's what they've been doing. So, I had a little there was a little bit of hesitation in my thoughts reading about Master P because of a $2 million deal that really is that was like a gifted $2 million, because I don't know if that kid fits the profile of the kind of player who should be getting that kind of love from a company on the first day of the NIL. But this one, it seems like this is a little bit more fitting. A quarterback who's one of the best in the country. he's getting endorsements. You know, we're going to see how much, I'm assuming, through this article. But, you know, I think, you know, it feels like this gives these guys an opportunity to be 10 steps ahead from a, you know, from a knowledgeable, from having a knowledgeable perspective on entrepreneurship and on money management. And I think that's huge. That's huge. I think that gives guys an opportunity to know how to handle money before they get handed like, you know, $20 million in the NFL. And I think there's got to be a balance there. That has to be kind of, you know, there has to be a balance. I don't want to see a bunch of college players with multi-million-dollar deals, because that's kind of defeats the point of trying to make it to the NFL. You know what I mean? But if they're making a good, you know, 5-figure, you know, 6 figures for some endorsement, and they're able to make connections in their community and in their industry, man, it really does. It could have an effect that would be really beneficial for a lot of people. It'll be hugely beneficial for that player, and the likelihood that he will be able to manage the money that he will receive as a professional athlete better than you've seen players handle it in the past. And he'll actually be able to provide, you know, he'll be able to make a difference in something outside of just playing football. You know, like, as a college athlete, all you're doing is playing football. You have no other real value to you other than of being a football player and a student, obviously. But in this situation, now he can become an actual influencer in the community and help see the community grow and build in different ways. Like Master P's son was saying, one of his main goals will be to give back to the community. So he'll have a chance to, you know, this will provide a chance for these athletes to start making those positive differences earlier. And again, in the long run, this helps them build their wealth and maintain their wealth, and, you know, grow their network. And I think that those are all things that are great in that college setting, and things that they've never had access to, but things that now, you know, will be, you know, it'll be an open range for them. I think that's cool. Let's see here. Okay, so he signed with College Hunks Hauling Junk Moving Company, Murphy Auto Group, and The Wharf, the open air bar and event space that he and his UM teammates frequent on off-season Friday nights. So, I mean, he's keeping it. The community is where he's getting his endorsements. The deal should net him more than $20,000. Okay, see, and that's a good number. That's kind of what I was imagining with this. The deal should net him more than $20,000, he says, and he received an immediate 5-figure signing bonus from College Hunks. He's also started selling his own branded line of clothing. King says he has no immediate plans for the money. Save it, he quips. He's cheap, laughs his brother. There's plenty more on the way, too. In fact, King says he's heard from representatives of at least 50 brands across the nation. Damn, okay. All attempting to crash into this new space where suddenly more than 400,000 NCAA athletes are available. Wow. Most of his deals are built around endorsing the 3 companies on his social media accounts. He may eventually make appearances too, and he hopes to involve his teammates. While King is comfortable financially, that's not the case for everyone in the locker room. Many of his teammates, in fact, send part of their monthly cost of attendance stipend to their families, some of whom are struggling with expenses. After rent, King usually has $500 to $700 remaining to live off of for the rest of the month. His teammates, some of them send that home. I don't have to do that, but they do, King says. We're trying to find ways to help each other. He's going to look out for his linemen. You goddamn right, son. He going to look out for his linemen. You fucking, okay, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I'm a fan, Derek King. Take care of your linemen, cuz. Huh. One of those ways, King suggests a multiplayer signing ceremony or appearance at a local business. The revenue for the event would be split evenly among all players, a generous gesture that makes King wonder why the NCAA prohibited such actions until the year 2021. It's all surreal, he says, and exhausting. King signed his college hunks deal in a ceremony at 12:01 a.m. Thursday, the earliest that it became legal under state law. He went to bed around 1 and was up by 5 to participate in UM's 2.5-hour summer workouts. Damn, 2.5 hours? Oh, that's that college shit. He then went to rehab for 2 hours, ate lunch, and traveled to the wharf for a 3 p.m. ceremony. He returned to the bar on Thursday night for a celebration appearance with his teammates, but he couldn't stay out too late. He got more workouts Friday morning. I mean, that's everybody. It's a balance that some major college stars and those with large social media followers, such as the Cavanagh twins, will have to strike. He has more plans for NIL ventures, such as holding camp in Houston and hitting the speaking engagement tour. I want to tell people my story, he says. And there's one other thing too. There is a specific brand in which he'd like to sign. The athleisure company Lululemon. He hasn't heard from the company yet, but he's put out feelers. Maybe they'll call soon. After all, now it's legal. Like a light switch, the NCAA flipped on the ability for athletes to do what every other student on a college campus can, make money off themselves. Still, King says the goal remains the same. I'm still focused on winning a championship, he says. So, you know what? That is like, that's cool. That is cool as hell. I'm damn near jealous now. Like, he gonna take care of his O-line. Shit. When I was at Purdue, I had Kyle Lorton. I mean, he took us to the pizza spot, you know, on Thursday nights. You know, we all had a pizza every Thursday. That was taking care of your O-line back then, because we couldn't make money, couldn't make no money. But I think this is big. There's so many, like, and we won't really know this until later. You know what I mean? We won't really know until, we won't know for a few years how this is really, truly going to play out. But I see a lot of positives with this in regards to the fact that now you have players who, okay, so for the vast majority of players on a college football team, like the University of Miami, they're not going to the NFL. They're not. There's not even really, I don't really know. I've never heard of this cat, to be honest, but I don't watch college football like that. But when's the last time a Miami quarterback went to the NFL? There's not really, I can't remember one. I think it was Ken Dorsey, maybe back 2002. I don't know. But, this is going to provide every single player on that team an opportunity to begin building wealth for themselves. And it doesn't, in a setting like that, in a football setting on a university campus where, in a city like Miami, you're going to have, guys who aren't even like considerable for the NFL are going to be able to make money. They're going to be able to get endorsements. They're going to be able to work with businesses to get, to help, promote businesses. Like, there's going to be the ability for guys to actually find real success aside from football, but with football as a tool to take them to that next level, from a business standpoint, from a financial standpoint. In a way, it kind of like helps balance out the fact that a lot of college football players cannot get degrees in fields that they truly want to get degrees in because of football. Football is in the way of that. And because they couldn't get those degrees in those specific fields that they wanted. Like for me, for example, I wanted to do computer graphics engineering when I got to Purdue, and I couldn't do it because it literally conflicted time-wise with football. And then what? They're going to move football? No, they're not going to move football. So, that changed the entire, I didn't realize that you couldn't actually study what you want to study if you're going to play football in some cases. And that really, this kind of creates a balance for that now. Now you have a situation where players can actually make money and find a lane in a business that can sustain them throughout the rest of their life and make them an even more and probably make them more likely to stay in the community where where their college is. It's going to make them more likely to stay involved with the franchise with the team. And that's good for a football program. This is also going to open up recruiting like none other. Recruiting is going to be so open now because, look, would you rather go to Alabama, where, yes, they were the national champions, they were, they have Nick Saban, they have all these, they have this pedigree of over the last like decade or two of excellence, but if you go to SMU, now you can get endorsements and you can get deals with businesses in Dallas that are far more it's going to be a much better deal for a top-ranked player to go to a city that can offer him the best kind of endorsements. That could shift the actual power structure of college football. Because there ain't shit in Alabama. Now you can have players working together with one another, and if they're the top in their state or the top in the country, and communicate with each other. Shoot, instead of going to Alabama, let's go to SMU. SMU, shit, we can get an endorsement deal, with this company. We can get an endorsement deal with that company. We can get, tied in with the Dallas Mavericks, with the Dallas Cowboys. Like, we have, companies that work with those major professional sports teams are gonna be willing to offer an endorsement deal. You know what I mean? Like, there's going to be a much bigger there's going to be a much more vast pool of places for players to pick from where it's not about going to the top team anymore. Now you want to go where you can make the most money. So if anything, this is probably the worst thing that could happen to a team like Alabama, Notre Dame. A lot of these perennial powers in college football right now are teams that are located in, media wastelands, places where nobody really, there is no real business that's going to give a top recruit, the opportunity to make a significant amount of money before they go pro. That changes things. I think that really does change things. I think that this is going to change recruiting. This is going to change, this is going to change how you perceive like a program's worth and its ability to bring a player into their university. Because how much power does Nick Saban have now if he can't provide endorsements that outweigh a team like, hell, Rutgers? You can't compete with that. Penn State can't compete with University of Houston. If it comes down to that, to being able to have access to companies and businesses that can actually pay endorsements to a top quarterback, to the top quarterback in the country who comes there. Well, he's gonna come there if they're gonna give him $150,000 in an endorsement deal. I don't know if there's. Hell, it could be a bidding war. And I'm pretty sure you can't use university funds to help boost an endorsement deal. So that's going to be coming from a third party. That third party, if they can't match what this other school that is not even ranked in the top 25, that is not even being considered as a national powerhouse, if they can't beat that city or that university in the city that it's in and provide better endorsement deals than what they're offering, well, then Alabama's going to start losing those top recruits because they can't pay them. That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem for them, for all of these traditionally big football powerhouses, because like I said, a lot of them are not located in places where they can have access to that kind of experience. Let's see here. What are you guys saying in the chat? Only hesitancy is, how does this affect small schools where money isn't on trees? How will this affect the FCS college level of football? Well, again, like, for instance, Northwestern University, great school, not a huge football program, but it's in Chicago. They're going to start getting top recruits. They are in Chicago. There are plenty of corporations that are in Chicago that'll be willing to pay money for a top recruit. They'll be willing to give them an endorsement deal that you're not going to see from, Notre Dame. You're not going to see from maybe Penn State. You know what I mean? Like, those are going to be things that are going to now be on the table for recruiting. That presents a very big challenge to a lot of schools that have been able to rest comfortably in the fact that they have tradition, 100 years of tradition and pedigree. Well, that can change, and it looks like it'll probably start changing very soon. Because I know one thing, Georgia Southern is in downtown Atlanta. I mean, look, Georgia Tech is in downtown Atlanta. There's going to be opportunities for top recruits to come to Atlanta and get an endorsement deal. $500,000 worth of endorsement deals. I mean, hell, there are so many international headquarters in Atlanta. I mean, it would only make sense. It would only make sense to go to where the money's going to be at. So, I mean, I think you're going to start seeing a shift in these teams. Now, what does that mean from the football side? On the football side, on the field, that means you're going to start potentially seeing better, big college coaches move around and start moving to bigger cities. They're going to start moving to teams that are in big cities. That could be a possibility. I'm not saying like Nick Saban's going to dip out of Alabama anytime soon, but maybe you start seeing, offensive coordinators coming from Alabama going to, Georgia Tech. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to start moving around because maybe they want to go where those big recruits are going, and those big recruits are going to begin to start going where the big money is. And that's going to be across every single sport. Every single sport. It ain't even just football. So this is going to be crazy. This really is going to be a crazy situation for the balance of power in college sports. It's going to change. I think it's going to change for real. For real. Let me see here. Let's see who else been getting deals. I know there's got to be some more. The IRS looking at all these NIL deals being made by people who aren't taught how to properly file taxes. I mean, come on, man. All you got to do is get you a CPA. Shit, that costs you, the basic CPA gonna cost you $500 just to get a tax return filed. Shoot, come on now. That ain't nothing. He got 20,000. Who's this? Okay, that's still him too. Oh, he just over here. Okay, you keep on getting them. Keep on getting them deals, boys. Okay, let's go. Women's getting them some too. What's up? Fresno State's women's basketball players Hannah and Haley Cavender waited for only a few minutes after the clock struck midnight before taking advantage of them new opportunities for college athletes to cash in on their fame. So they getting bread. Fresno State. Whew. I kind of want to see what they got. Let's see what they got. I want to see what they got. Real talk. Let's see what they got. Wait on. Two sisters who play for Fresno State's basketball team and entertain millions of followers on social media flew to New York on Wednesday to sign their first major. They flew to New York. Sign their first major endorsement deal. They are now spokeswomen for Boost Mobile, with plans to promote the wireless telecommunication company in a variety of ways coming year. NCAA rules change state. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, it was really exciting that such a known company wanted to work with Hannah and me. Haley Cavender said, "This is a big switch for all student athletes. Being able to use your name, image, and likeness is something we all deserve, and I'm really thankful the NCAA is finally passing this." Don't you thank the NCAA. Don't you thank them for a damn second. Don't thank them for shit. They should have did this shit decades ago, and they actually fought against this. They fought against it, I believe, until the Supreme Court was like, give them their bread. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I believe that there was a Supreme Court case that was ruled on where they said the players can make money. Like, why not? I believe it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it wasn't the Supreme Court. I'm not sure, but let me know if you know in the chat, because I'm not exactly sure on that. But it says here, Boost CEO Steven Stockos told ESPN that the company has a list of 400 college athletes it hopes to partner with in the future. He said the Cavenders will be part of a national advertising campaign, but he's interested in the appeal that many college athletes have on a local level. They're going to be dealing with them on a local level. They got their national girls here, and okay. I think that there's and look, okay, let's finish this. He said deals could range from annual contracts worth large sums of money to in-kind deals where Boost provides athletes with free cell phones and service plans in exchange for promoting the company on social media. A lot of these guys are local heroes. We think it's a big opportunity to get regional and local with relevant names in those markets. We want to be one of the biggest companies embracing the college athlete marketplace early. We hope to play a role in helping to shape it. There's a lot of gray area that will hopefully be more defined a year from now. Okay, and they already in fucking Times Square. Shit! I'm jealous. I wish I had that in college. Nah, this is dope though. That's dope. I like that. Like, that's some dope. That's cool. That's cool. Cause you know what? And I keep bringing this cat's name up, but it's the damn truth. Shit. Nick Saban's in fucking Aflac commercials. I mean, why? That's an odd endorsement, but he's in Aflac commercials getting millions off that. It's about time they let players start getting some bread. Shit. I ain't mad at him. Got nothing but love for him. Do your thing, boy. Oh, shit. She's mad. Yeah, but this is dope. I like this. I like it. I like it for these athletes because damn, they deserve it, man. Like they do. They deserve to be able to make something. And shit, if it's millions, then so be it. Just, Now people will ask what separates this from what is now the difference between a college athlete and a professional athlete? Still a lot. Still a ton. And they still won't make nearly as much money as they would at the professional level. Okay, here's another. Okay, like I just said, SMU, boom, here we go. It was just after midnight on July 1st as SMU linebacker Jimmy Phillips Jr. made history by becoming the first collegiate athlete to complete an NIL deal. Well, let's see what he got. What you get, cuz? Okay. Oh, he signed digital autographs through FanGauge's digital autograph platform. It feels pretty fitting that an SMU player was the first to cash in on the new NIL regulations, or lack thereof. Yes, and if you don't know the story of SMU was the best football program in the country at one point in the 80s. They got caught, in a pay, they got caught with, their players got caught getting paid money, and their players were like, their star players were like going out and like robbing people. Robbing people just for the hell of it. They weren't even like, they already were getting money and had jewelry and all that. They just kind of was going out and, having fun, and they decided they was going to start robbing people. So, when the NCAA found out about all that, and they found out about, the money in particular that they were getting, they gave SMU the death penalty. Now, the death penalty has only ever been used one time in college sports, in period. It's only been used one time, and it was used on SMU. 2 years of no football, no program, no coaches, no players, nothing. Your football program is deleted for 2 years. And that literally, like, SMU just started becoming a good football team again like a year ago. That's how long. This was back in like 1980, like 8 or 1989, something like that. I'm not sure exactly what year, but it was 80s. It was like mid 80s. They just started being good again last year. They had like their best school record ever like a year ago, or 2019 season. I'm sorry, 2019. The 2019 season was like their best season ever. Like that was like, they're good now. They were like good. Like they had a good team. That's how long it took this football program to recover. So the NCAA realized that punishment, they never used it again, because you can't recover from that. You can't recover. It took, like 3 or 4 decades, 3 decades, pretty much 3.5 decades for SMU to actually recover. And that's not how it's intended. That's not what they intended for it to like be when they gave them that punishment. So, that's the irony of this, this sentence here. When the article says, it feels pretty fitting that an SMU player was the first to cash in on the new NIL regulations, or lack thereof. So, that is true. This is very ironic that a team that was literally a football program that was destroyed by the NIL rules is the first one to take part in the fruits of the relinquishing of the NIL restrictions on players being able to make money. So, that's huge. And that's that's the hometown. SMU's the hometown. That's in Dallas. So that's good stuff there for them. That's going to be big for them moving forward. But that is going to be it for today's Lineman Life Live. Do me a favor, if you haven't already done so, hit that like button and subscribe to the Observant Lineman, Uche Nwaneri, if you haven't already done so. And if you are a subscriber and are thinking about supporting the channel even more, think about joining. Hit that join button, which is just right there next to subscribe. I think it's safe to say we had some pretty big stories that have dropped in the last 24 hours. And, I felt like we did a pretty good job of going through here and breaking it down and talking about it. But let me look one more time into the chat. Let's see what you guys are saying before we go ahead and sign off this thing. Let's see what we got. Let's see. Did Dave Garrard get you anything? What did Dave get us? Dave got us when Dave got his contract after we went to the playoffs my rookie year, and I'm trying to remember. What did he get us? I think he went to the Pro Bowl too that year. So he went to the Pro Bowl, and he got us, I'm trying to remember. Must not have been nothing good because I can't remember shit. I know when Maurice Jones-Drew won the rushing, when he went to the Pro Bowl, his first time to the Pro Bowl, Maurice Jones-Drew got all the offensive linemen diamond-encrusted Gucci watches. Diamond-encrusted Gucci watches. Those things is dope. I still got mine. But Dave got us something. Oh, he got it for the starters. He got the starter because that was my rookie year. I wasn't a starter. That's why I was going blank. He got the starters. I think he got them he got everybody 65-inch plasma screens, something like that. LCD screens, something like that. But yeah, your quarterback got to take. Those are the first cats the quarterback takes care of is the O-line. You got to. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we talked about that. This might change Kansas's 3 schools on the basketball side. Yeah, that could be true with the whole NIL thing. Could the owners of big schools in the middle of nowhere, Bama, set up their own separate endorsement companies loving the content from a new Jags fan in England? Cheerio. Appreciate that, HH. No. There's no owner of the university that could start an endorsement company. There's a president of the university, but there's no owner. So the universities wouldn't be able to just start dropping bread. And look, universities, they don't really give a damn about dropping bread for the football programs. That's what the boosters are for. That's what the revenue from the football team itself is for, because the football team is the one that creates the revenue, the games, the ticket sales, the merchandise, the bowl games, championships. They get money for all that. The SEC, for the SEC, right? The SEC, Alabama has a national title. Whoever wins the national title, they get paid money for winning that game. I think it's a couple million. And then it's shared with the conference. They get the biggest piece on their end, but they share with the rest of the teams in the conference. So the conference will pull its money after the football season ends, after the bowl season. All the money that each team made from their bowls will be pulled together and shared. So, the university doesn't really have a way to counterbalance against a player not wanting to go there if he can't get a good endorsement deal. And it may not happen immediately. You may not see the shift immediately, but it will begin to shift, I believe, mainly because there will be players who will begin to do like they do in the pros to a certain extent, at least with basketball. They'll start to kind of find out where one guy's going, what he's looking, of course there are going to be companies who hit up these guys from whatever schools are recruiting them and be like, hey, if you come here, we got an endorsement deal for you for $50,000 a year. So every year you're going to get $50,000 from us. That's going to happen. And there's going to be corporations in major cities that can offer a lot more. And, that's why, and we're kind of back into this now real quick. That's why I was so pissed when I saw, and now I got to pull this shit up. Because now it's going to be that's where the problem's going to come from. Because now these politicians have gotten their greedy asses involved in this shit, and they're trying to help the universities. And where does it happen? Number one, first and foremost, in Georgia. They passed a law. Let me see this shit. Man, look, I just got mad at that because this shit is stupid. Georgia NIL state law. Look at this shit. This is bullshit. Oh my God. This is what pisses me off, because politicians are now going to involve themselves in finding a way to take the money out of the pockets of these players right after they get it. This was a month ago, and I retweeted this out on Twitter, and I was like, this is a problem, because now you have a governor Brian Kemp, fucking piece of shit, he is putting his hands directly in the pockets of these players who now are going to be able to get endorsements in Georgia, which is some garbage. So it says here, Georgia's new law, or Georgia NIL law, would allow schools to pool and redistribute athletes' endorsement money. Communism! Literal communism. Literal. Isn't that what it is? Community? They're going to pull everybody's money and redistribute it? What is that? What is that? That's what it is, right? I believe that's what it is. Literally. That's how the economic side of it works. Georgia's new law allows college athletes in the state, or did I read this title? Yeah. Georgia's new law allows college athletes in the state to earn money off their name, image, and likeness, but schools can take up to 75% of their money. What? Wow. Wow. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signed House Bill 617 on Thursday, which will allow college athletes in the state to earn money off their name and likeness starting July 1st. I believe it sets Georgia on path to accomplish something that's quite honestly should have been done a long time ago. But you're taking their money and you're redistributing it. Literally. What a piece of shit. This is absolute garbage. Thanks to the bill, student athletes from across the country will have Georgia on their mind. No, they won't. This bill, it's deaded. It deads Georgia. Georgia football, Georgia Tech, GSU, every collegiate sports program in the state of Georgia is going to suffer. No one will come to your shit. No one will come to your shit. Why would they? You can take 75% of my endorsement? I'm not coming there. Hell no. You ain't even going to go see the facilities. You ain't even get past the phone call with these motherfuckers. Every college athlete, every high school athlete who's going into college needs to know, do not go to a school in Georgia because they can take 75% of your money. Just, a heads up. Wow. 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 Will have Georgia on their mind when they're looking for a campus and a university that can give them a world-class education, but also a chance to compete at the highest levels of college athletics. It won't be at the highest levels very much longer. However, the new legislation contains a twist. Schools can require athletes to pool up to 74.99% of their money earned in an escrow account that would then be shared with other athletes. However, it would not be able to be withdrawn until a year after they graduate and leave school. Oh my God. Yo, I mean, hold on. Georgia sports is dead if this shit is allowed to fucking and it says it is up to the schools whether or not they instate this requirement. Wow. This is literally, this law is completely anti-capitalism. It is anti-capitalism. Literally. It is completely opposed to the free market. This is literally un-American. This entire law is literally un-American. It is. There is no way around that. I'm embarrassed to live in this state because of this law right here, as far as this is concerned. This is literally stealing their money. Literally. Additionally, the bill requires college athletes in the state to take 5 hours of a financial literacy and life skills workshop to prepare for receiving the compensation. Why? When they can't even get it until they graduate. Like, this is bullshit. Oh, wow. Georgia's bill comes less than a week after Florida lawmakers reversed course for the second time on when their NIL bill would take effect, passing an amendment to flip the decision to delay when its name, image, and likeness legislation would be effective. Let me see what Florida is doing, because if Georgia's shit is as fucking whacked out fucking crazy as that, what is Florida's? Wow. Okay. Let's see. Wednesday's amendment was introduced. I'm just breezing through this real quick, guys. If it's important, I'll continue. Hold on. It doesn't appear I knew the Supreme Court case was in there. I knew that Supreme Court case was right. Let me see. What is their bill? New Mexico, Mississippi, and Alabama have already passed bills. Let me see. Okay, so there's multiple bills that have been written up for Mississippi, Alabama. Let's see. It says these various state bills differ slightly in language, but their foundations are made up on the same basic provisions. One, an athlete's rights, NIL rights, cannot be restricted by schools and conferences. That is fucking huge. Two, athletes can hire an agent. Not as big as it used to be, but okay. Three, endorsement deals must be disclosed to the school. That's obvious, I would think. And four, no prospective athlete can strike NIL deals as recruiting inducements. But they are not all uniform. Some of the bills feature unique. What the fuck is this? Fuck out of here. But they are not all uniform. Some of the bills feature unique provisions and a wide range of effective dates. At least 2 states could see their laws take effect even before Florida's. Alabama's bill would kick in 2 months after the governor signs it, and New York's bill would take effect immediately. While most of these NIL proposals are exceedingly athlete-friendly, some are more restrictive than others. Mississippi's bill, for example, allows universities to impose limitations on the date and time in which an athlete may participate in NIL events. I mean, that's not really crazy because I mean, even as professionals, there's only like a certain time window when during the week when you actually like even really have the time to do that kind of stuff, and it would be on your day off on Tuesday. Others are more permissive with stringent regulations, on schools. Iowa's bill even places a cap on the number of hours per week a student can participate in an athletic activity, and New Mexico's bill prohibits schools from denying an athlete enrollment if they earn NIL compensation as a recruit. Okay, that's good. I think this is big. You can't deny an athlete from coming in because they already got an endorsement before they came. That's sensible. Like, if it's a player who they know is going to get a scholarship, then and he knows he's going to go to a certain school. If they offer him endorsement, he should be able to enjoy that. Let's see. At least a few bills blur the lines of pay for play. South Carolina's bill, thought to be a long shot to pass, compels schools to set aside $5,000 per year in a trust for each football player and basketball player, and then distribute the funds to them upon graduation. Yeah, you see this shit? We see what they said. What this says? It says, long shot. This is a long shot to take their money and to put it away for. No, you can't touch their fucking money. That's where I have a real problem. If you're going to let them get paid, you can't touch it. Leave that shit alone. Damn. Let's see. Alabama's bill gives athletes option to participate in NIL or receive $10,000 a year from the school. I mean, that's for a college student. Fuck yeah. Either one, you win. New York's bill requires schools to set aside 50% of their athletic department revenue for a wage fund to divide amongst athletes each year. I think that makes sense. That makes sense because the athletic department at some of these schools makes so much money. And for decades upon decades, the athletes didn't get a fucking dime. And they tell them it's because we gave you a scholarship. Seriously? We worked that scholarship money off. You already worked the scholarship money off. Really? Like, what about everything else? Like, that extra money, where's that going? Oh, to upgrade the facilities. Yeah, but I'm not going to be here to enjoy that for much longer. So where's the rest of what I've helped build going to come to me? I think that's definitely, there's definitely a lot there's a lot more to dig into about the specific NIL bills that different states have. But this Georgia one, this is absolute garbage. I cannot believe this was passed. I cannot believe it was passed. So back to the Georgia article. It says here, Georgia's bill comes less than a week after Florida lawmakers reversed course for a second time on their NIL bill, when their NIL bill would take effect, passing an amendment to flip the decision to delay when its NIL legislation will be effective. Meanwhile, there are still several federal NIL proposals up for consideration, and the NCAA is still waiting a ruling from the Supreme Court on NCAA versus Alston case, which I believe, because this article is from last month, that I think that case has been ruled on in favor of the players, but not 100% sure on that. So there you have it. I mean, that to me is unbelievable that the state of Georgia is going to like kill off their sports programs with this law, because if these universities, which I am hoping that they are not going to enforce this garbage at all, because that's what it is. It is literally it's literally like, it's communism. It is. It's literally, you snatch up my money, you throw it in a basket, and you give it out to everybody else. Like, where they do that at? Not in America. You know what I mean? Wow. That shit is just stupid. That's just ridiculous. And in every imaginable way. Just get your hands out of motherfuckers' pockets for a second, please. But anyways, I'm going to keep an eye on this stuff. I'm going to keep an eye on the ebb and flow of it, and we'll reconvene and talk about it more as, things start to become a little bit more clear and, the dust settles with this whole NIL situation. But again, you guys have been awesome. Appreciate y'all. We've been running tonight, been going for a minute. You guys have been great. Hit that like button once again if you haven't already done so. But I appreciate y'all, and I will be back on Monday for the next Lineman Life Live. Hit that bell notification so that you are alerted when that time comes. But that is going to be it for me here this evening. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Happy 4th of July. And I will catch you all next week on